lights are going out. I've got nothing, can't you see me, baby? Look into my eyes, see I'm acting crazy. Nothing left in me.
I used to love stories. I used to love listening to stories, or like listening to my mom read me books. And when I got a little bit older and I could actually read, I loved reading books and I couldn't put them down. And I've always loved movies and just any type of storytelling. I've always really enjoyed it. And so when I got the opportunity to audition for a local theater group that was putting on Cinderella, a story that every 8-year-old loved, I was very excited. And I can remember putting on my audition for the part I wanted to try out for was Lucifer the Cat. Come to learn is not a part in the actual Rodgers and Hammerstein's version of the story. But it really opened my eyes to the fact that these stories could be told in different ways, and that performing them up on stage, what I considered just playing make-believe, was a legitimate way of telling stories. Ever since then, I haven't stopped telling stories. I've found different ways to use this medium to get stories across and to find new stories, which is always exciting for me. You can use light, sound, stage to create this universe that you're telling your tale in, and you can be the one orchestrating everything as a director, or you could be the one up on stage being all the different characters. I've always really liked that. You find different ways of telling the story, but you also find things in real life that make the story that much more exciting. Becoming different characters, getting to know the different characters within the show, and therefore getting to know so many different people in the field and in theater. And theater people are just the most amazing. We're also imaginative, and we all love telling stories. What started off as just me wanting to play real life make-believe in front of people and trying out for Cinderella became me never stopping playing make-believe. And now I get to do it for audiences all the time. My name is Jill, and I am theater.
Almost throughout my entire theater high school experience, I was the only person who knew how to use the light board. It was the second half of my sophomore year and then the entire year of my senior year. My junior year, this boy named Matt Kennedy also knew how to use the light board, but I was still the on-call person whenever they needed a light board person for like one-act festivals, dance shows, or like when we had speakers come. So that year was the first year that I ever lit a musical, and Matt had just done the main stage, I guess we could call it, for the first term of that year, and we decided to take turns for main stages, which doesn't make any sense because I ended up doing the next 2 shows that year. But anyway, he would hang out with me in the light booth during the show just because I was all by myself, and I hated being all by myself up there because it was dark and scary. After the first tech rehearsal, it became increasingly clear that I am really bad at musicals, and the tech director came and talked to me and told me that this was how you do it, and as Jeff would say, you have to put the punctuation at the end of the song. But that's sort of how he explained it to me, but not using the word punctuation. So, to help me with this, Matt and I would dance, I guess you could say. No, I guess a better word is conduct during the song. So, during Be Our Guest, in the end, we literally went like this. And bring down the light. That's my fondest theater story. I'm Julia Grace Scanlon, and I am theater.
Hi, my name is Katie. I'm a second-year student at St. Michael's College, and I've been acting for quite a while now. I was in this one show a few years back that was brand new with a brand new director, and for some reason he got it in his head that I needed to cry like full out tears, sobbing on stage. He put so much pressure on me to actually cry that I didn't focus on my part at all. I just focused solely on getting myself to cry. And of course, I never actually did cry during that show, and I felt like a terrible actress. Then a few months later, I played one of my favorite parts of all time, Ophelia in Hamlet, and I absolutely loved it. There's that moment on stage right after her father has just died, and people think she's going crazy, and she's singing songs to herself, and everybody's watching her. The second performance I had, I felt so vulnerable and hopeless, and just so sad that the tears just started to come, and I found myself sobbing as I was singing my little songs in front of an entire audience. And it was the most freeing and beautiful and scariest and thrilling experience I've ever had. I do realize how important it is to let the actor find the emotions instead of the director. You can't tell any actor what their character is feeling. That's up to the person themselves. Out of the 8 performances of Hamlet, I cried 3 times. Those 3 times I've cried on stage were so powerful and thrilling. It amazed me every time. I'm Katie St. Raymond, and I am theater.
When I was in the 5th grade, I became really interested in Lucille Ball. I had to do this big research paper on her, and we had to do this wax museum thing where we would dress up like the person we researched and pose as them while our parents walked around. Then, whenever somebody came up to us, we'd have to turn around from our poses and say a little bio about our person. I was dressed up as Lucy in that episode where she's in the big grape thing. I had these fake grapes in a barrel that I was standing in, and I remember my brother kept walking by and throwing real grapes in. But that's beside the point. I think that's when I fell in love with portraying somebody that I wasn't and telling a story. So, when I was about 14, I started having all these problems and issues that I didn't like to talk about or, express or anything. And I think I just needed an escape from everything or some form of creative expression, and I needed to be someone else for a while. Then I thought of Lucy and how she always seemed so happy on TV and in her movies and how she was always making everyone smile even though she didn't have the best life herself. For me now, acting has become kind of therapeutic. It's not like I'm always being someone that I'm not. Sometimes when I'm acting, I get to say things that I can't through my characters. Even when I'm not acting and I'm backstage working on a show or something, it's still so amazing to be bringing a story to life and to get into somebody else's world for a while. My name is Michelle Kasneski, and I am theater.
It was my senior year, and I was chosen to direct the murder mystery that has been a long-standing tradition at my high school since way before I was even born. On top of that, they always choose a script that has been written by a student. And that year, my best friend, her script was chosen. I got to work with a cast of over 20 people and a huge crew as well, and it was entirely run by students. I got to watch students create the lighting and create the design of the set and just work on their lines all the time and work on their character choices. And I got to help guide people with their acting, and it was amazing as you watch so much creativity and so many ideas thrown out there by just a bunch of different people. It's so much collaboration. And I think that's the biggest part about theater, is being collaborative with everyone that you have to work with. Best part about working with a script that had never been seen before or done before was that people could use their own ideas and bring in lots and lots of character choices. Of course, you always go by what the playwright has, but people really got to be as creative as they wanted. I got to help create something so special to everyone involved. And people had so much fun because it was our thing. It was something that the students were running and had created themselves. That's what life is about. It's about using your creativity to drive your passions. It changed my life, and it drives my passion every day. My name is Shannon Carroll, and I am theater.